Yo, what's up, y'all? It's me, DisBearity, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about the newest Age Wonders expansion pack, or Expansion Pass 3, that's coming out to the game. Now, first and foremost, I am sorry. I've been so behind on a lot of stuff lately. I haven't been able to talk about Age Wonders 4 DLC or anything upcoming for it, and y'all know me, I'm a big Age Wonders fan, and I enjoyed the hell out of this game, so I'm here ready to discuss. I know, again, I'm about a month late on this, so bear with me, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get on into this. So this is Dev Diary number 50, y'all. This talks about the Vampire Lord. So in this DLC, to give you a quick rundown, yes, they're finally adding in vampires to this amazing epic game. I think Age 1 4 still is the best 4X game out there right now, at least to me. It's just fun. So the elder vampires are ageless undead who have gained great power through the curse dating back to the era of arch vampires and the deathless god. Though these tales are now considered more myth than truth, even by vampires themselves, they abhor the sun and often desecrate the land through special structures, creating zone of somber darkness. These sunless lands allows them to exist outside caves so that they may expand their domain and exert their influence. Mechanically speaking, if vampires is not in the underground, gloom, or sunless terrain, they cannot recover health on the world map, and their damage is penalized. Yo, I like that aspect. I actually do. So when you're conquering in the overland, you're turning that land into basically your territories so that you could be in it, before you can regain HP and stuff. So that's a really cool mechanic that you have to, keep in mind. So there are two types of elder vampires, the pureblood and hybrid. These differences are cosmetic. The pureblood is a vampire specific species tied to the lore, having more custom look in terms of body and clothing, while the hybrid can have a form but will not have as much customization as the pureblood. So you can kind of see it or get an idea of what each of these are about. So elder vampires replace the wizard tower structure and upgrades their own vampire castle. The castle evolves and upgrades in a similar way to the wizard tower and shares a lot of the same unlocks, but vampire castle and upgrades give extra things. For example, the Vampire Castle Foundation gives the same things as the Wizard Tower Foundation, the extra Imperium and Vision range, but it also unlocks a feature of the vampire's thralls and ritual spells. Much like the Eldritch Sovereign, the Elder Vampire has access to thralls, but the way they gain them is different. Instead of capturing them in battle, they are instead homegrown. So homegrown, using food and income to produce them. They have a separate tracker and don't take away from population growth. Their first ritual spell is shared with the Eldritch Sovereign, the Clairvoyance Ritual, and that lets you find nearby points of interest, but as they upgrade their vampire castle, they gain more and unique rituals. From the Ritual Sacrifice that can heal the vampire in the world map, to a powerful blood moon ritual, which blots out the sign and removes penalties of the surface world to all vampires, no matter if they are in the New Sunless territory or not. So I wonder if that aspect there, would it change the way the world map looks to everybody in the game that you're playing with, or AI, so on and so forth? So that if that does happen, that's pretty baller. The side upgrades to follow this fashion. Instead of an item forge, Vampire has access to Soul Forge that grants access to the item forge feature as normal, but in addition, lets them recruit hatchling and matriarch vampire spiders, as well as two new units, the tier 1 Doombat and the tier 2 Shrieking Bat. Another example is the Abattoir, which replaces the prison. This structure allows vampires to devour captured heroes instead of executing them as usual, and grants the vampire who eats the hero an amount of experience that increases with the level of the sacrificial meal. Ooh, I'm gonna give him the Orky in terms of brawls. Let's see. This goes on for most upgrades normally unlocked by the Wizard Tower. For example, the crypts become the deep crypts that allow vampires to regenerate faster in their domain. The channeling chamber becomes ritual chamber and helps reduce the amount of thralls needed to cast rituals. All right, I can surely dig it. Of course, vampires cannot be called vampires without spreading the cursed state to others. When they recruit or convert a hero, they transform them into a turned vampire, replacing their mortal champion hero skill tree to that of a vampire unique skill tree and give them the undead unit type. They also suffer from sunlight weakness and gain new passive called Experience Drain, as all turned vampires must submit to their elder. A portion of their experience is earned in battle by a turned vampire is granted to the elder vampire himself. Oh shit, love it. So you can kind of see the vampire skill tree there. That's pretty cool. So with that, the vampire's origin skill tree is all about draining blood from your enemies, bestowing powers to allies, and mind control. So CC, health regen, stuff like that. I can see it. A vampire starts with blood draining ability, either a powerful melee ability called Draining Bite, or a weaker range version called Siphon Blood. These abilities deal physical damage to the target and heal vampire for half the damage dealt. Unfortunately, you can only drain from those who have it. So the units that are immune to the blood feeding effect cannot be drained. The Elder Vampire's initial class determines if the vampire starts with melee or ranged version, but can be repicked with a skill reset. These abilities can be led down two paths: a control path and a friendly unit buff path. The first grants the vampire's drain ability to stun, and as well as vampire earns experience, can then turn into mind control. At a higher level, becomes dominant effect, allowing vampires to capture enemies for their own army at the end of the battle for a mana cost. The second path starts with the ability Drain Familiar, which allows the vampire to feed on a friendly unit to regain hit points and strength. The vampire then later can have it where it becomes more symbiotic, and the vampire sharing its profane strength temporarily with Familiar, or even granted regeneration. Other skill grants the vampire the ability to bypass defenses when draining its enemies, reduces the cooldown on the drain ability, and turn to mist when threatened, or even the vampiric flight passive, allowing the vampire to gain flying movement speed and also granting some evasion and range attacks. So you can kind of see the vampire's signature skill tree here, and I actually kind of like with each expansion that they're doing, they're changing things with these signature skill tree to make things more different and differentiate, you know, make them better in that sense, right? So that said here, because there are many fantasies and tropes surrounding vampires, I decided I would need to have a lot of options, somewhere where you can get to pick and choose as a player what your ideal vampire plays like. To do this, you decided to use signature skills. They all unique to the vampire, but there's a total of 25 unique skills. The way the Eldar vampire works is that at each signature unlock, they get a different set of options. So at level 4, the vampire picks from 4 options that gives you an active ability and passive, each with a different theme. For example, the Desecrator signature allows your vampire to cause rotting explosions by targeting corpses, and as a passive, it grants a tier 1 zombie at the start of combat for more undead theme. Meanwhile, Hemomancer lets the vampire sacrifice their hit points to empower their next attack and passively heal when they kill an enemy. So Hemomancer, Night Sworn, Dreadful, and Desecrator. All awesome names. At level 8, they pick from 6 passes, from reducing cooldowns on a kill from the Reaper passive, dispelling enemy status effects with their attack with the Defiler passive, and empowering themselves as hit points are reduced with Vampiric Rage. Cool. And so as you see here, you have Night Lord, Reaper, Vampiric Rage, Profane Body Mastery, and Marl Drinker with Defiler. So at level 12, the vampire picks a new active ability from 6 abilities. Here are some examples. So the Grave March creates 4 corpses of tier 1 skeletons in the target area, and then for the next 4 turns, the vampire revives a random corpse on the battlefield, be it those you spawn or existing ones. Blood Blight damages and applies Blood Parasite, another new status effect. That's cool. We'll tell you like in a few weeks to target and nearby units here. I'm guessing that's like it's like a poison in a sense, right? You target it and it drains your enemies. Hell, and it might even convert your target. I don't know. That actually sounds kind of cool. Tormenting Mist creates a somber mist around the vampire that deals frost damage, demoralizes, and torments all enemies it reaches. And then Blood Communion heals a friendly unit and the vampire, both removing status effects. Okay, so Blood Communion, Exsanguinate, Blood Blight, Tormenting Mist, Festering Spine, and Grave March. I really do like those names, honestly. So Curse to the Undead, which is a range area effect of soulbound enemies. All enemies hit along with a passive that damages all soulbound units at the start of each vampire's turn. Rosebound Noble allows the vampire to summon a tier 4 Rose Knight in battle, a new unit introduced in this content pack. Additionally, as a passive, this signature allows you to recruit Rose Knights from your cities. Supernatural movement gives the vampire a free teleport skill in which in battle and fast movement speed to itself, and all turn vampires under you as long as they aren't mounted. So supernatural speed, violent insanguination, rosebound noble, curse the undead, parasitic communion, spreading blight, aura of torment. And so that, honestly, I will say this, after coming back to this, I know, like, again, I am literally a month behind, but after coming back to this though, and really looking at this new upcoming DLC, I'm excited, honestly. I'm excited to do a playthrough on this. Because, I mean, I'm actually very surprised that, you know, it took them this long to add in, you know, vampires to the game. I mean, you have almost every fantasy archetype, again, almost keyword there. And I'm glad that they finally, you know, they're finally here, basically. That's what I'm glad about, you know. So, once again, I feel like that this DLC has the right thing going for it, honestly. And it's good to see always new content for Age 1's 4, because this is, I believe, to say, the most popular 4X game out there right now, considering that Civilization 7 is not the greatest game, you know, although it's not really that great, honestly. It's kind of mid. But Age 1's 4, though, they have it going on. So let me know what you guys think about this DLC. Again, I feel like it's an excellent DLC, and, you know, with more coming, you know. And then once again, I apologize for being a month late. So don't chew me up in the comment section too much, y'all. But again, thank God for watching. Thank God for your support. And I'll see y'all for the next video. Peace out. Much love and have a good one, y'all. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also hit the bell notification down below. Thanks for watching.